Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Adamcast IRL show. Just a little, little ditty intro that I always do. Hold on. Stay. All right, it's staying. What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday on a crazy week. Lots of crazy news going on, but we're not going to be talking about news today. We're going to be talking about guns. Pow, pow, pow. Yes. And I've got with me Control Pew. Welcome to the show, sir. It is a pleasure to have you.
Glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. And I'm really excited because 3D printed guns, I mean, people have been talking about 3D printed guns for a while now. It was like, oh man, they can slip them into the airport because they're ceramic or plastic. And, but then of course you need metal bullets. I don't know the whole thing about that. But, and then there was that image that was floating around with just like the one shooter. I don't know, it looked like a half plastic brick. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Liberator.
Is that what it's called? The Liberator?
Right there.
Do you have? Oh, you have one right there. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You want to close up?
Yeah. Here, let me see if I can let me give you just the screen. If you look back. Oh yeah, go grab it. Yeah, grab that Liberator. All right, so he's gonna go grab that and show us. This was the very first 3D printed gun. Of course you have it. Of course you've got one.
Of course I've got one.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Now, how many times can you shoot that thing?
I've never shot this, and I never will.
Because it was sketchy.
Yeah, it was never a great design in the very beginning. Like, it was functional; you could get it to shoot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ideal for like a firearm. You could get one shot off, but it might blow up. It might not. If you made it properly, 60-40, you'd be fine. But like, it's just one of those that you just don't want to trust. So this one was me nostalgically making one. I had it signed by a couple of guys down at Defense Distributed, and it's going to hang on my wall.
It's pretty cool. I saw it, it's signed there. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, it's just there's no metal parts in that. Then, right? Is that the case?
Yeah. There's going to be one right there. There would be a nail, a trim down common house nail, finishing nail.
Oh.
As like a firing pin.
Okay.
But outside of that, and then the bullet that would sit in the chamber there. Aside from that, I mean, it's just plastic. Springs are plastic.
Yeah.
Entirely off the printer.
So. Awesome. All right. So now, I mean, wow, 3D printed guns have certainly come a long way, haven't they?
Yeah, we've gone quite a bit further.
You got a collection there. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was saying I'm a little disappointed that I don't have my FGC9 put together. We're in the middle of some shenanigans with that one,
really?
And some rebuilds that are going on with an updated version. So it's all torn apart and broken. But yeah, that's probably the pinnacle of like the majority printed firearm. Its claim is that there are no registered no firearm components to it.
Yeah.
So like the fire control group, you can swap it with an AR-15 one or an airsoft one that you can order off like AliExpress and ship it almost internationally. I think Australia is the only place you can't get that fire control group because they banned it. But everywhere else in the world is fine. The barrel we cut, we bore to size, rifle, and chamber with basically salt water and a power supply, a 12-volt power supply. You can do it in your kitchen sink or in your garage in a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And you can do that for less than like $100, and you can make all the barrels in the world.
So that's basically the one thing that's currently needed for a 3D printed gun is the barrel?
Basically, yeah. The bolt and the barrel. So they're pressure bearing surfaces. They take the majority of the explosive force from whatever projectile you have in there.
Okay.
So yeah, the bolt, the barrel are really the components you absolutely really have to have as metal for a reliable firearm in the long term.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious. A lot of people in chat. I know this is a little side note. A lot of people are actually talking about how I might actually get in trouble right now for.
Oh yeah.
For talking about, I don't think it's necessarily talking about guns, but maybe showing guns. Now, I don't really understand necessarily why. I mean, I've seen there's videos on YouTube all the time of people shooting guns and talking about guns. And
I don't stream much on YouTube, so I don't know any of the rules.
Yeah, I don't. I honestly, I'm still kind of a baby here in the YouTube world. Now, I don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily saying that I want to stop this conversation, because I don't think that. I think this is an important conversation that needs to happen, because 3D printed guns are happening. You know,
Right.
they're and laws are being laid out. And one thing I've learned over the past 3 months or year, essentially, is we all got to be a part of this conversation. Whatever laws are being had, we got to know what it is. We got to understand the full complexities of everything that the laws are about. You know, so that's why. So I just wanted to get that out. You know, YouTube, if you're listening, look, I just want to understand this. All right, I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just curious.
And look,
all right,
having a visual model to show people this is what a 3D printed gun is really helpful to like 99% of the audience on YouTube in the first place.
Right.
So
yeah, well, it certainly looks like a real gun. I mean, they shoot. I mean, how long do they last? You know, is it do they eventually degrade? Obviously quicker than metal because it's plastic, but you know, what's the quality of the plastics?
Right. So the black AR-15 here has about 800 rounds through it. The bluish Glock next to it has almost 300 now. This one here, the green one, is sitting at about 400, I think. And then like my 1022 down here, the pirate pistol.
Right.
On about 150. The high point is, I think, at 800 now.
Wow.
So, I mean, we can get up there if you design it properly. It's pure mechanics. So if you design properly and take your material strengths into account, it's just like any other piece of engineering anywhere.
Right on. So even the springs can be plastic. You'd think that they need to be metal also, right?
Yeah, metal springs are generally better.
Right,
but
I'm sure.
Plastic will do. You know, again, if you design it appropriately, you can. You know, you can make the material work. If you
3D printed springs.
Right. 3D printed springs.
Interesting. 3D. So, now, do you make your own designs?
Some of us do. So the pirate pistol and the high point here are mine. This one are Freeman, and I don't remember who did the AR back there.
Right on.
Yeah. There are quite a few of us knocking out designs and tossing these around, so it's hard to keep track.
yeah. That pirate pistol is cool. I was looking at that one, and pull that one out. That one's pretty sweet. So that's a 3D printed pirate pistol. It looks, what is it? A 22 or?
Yeah, it's a Ruger, based on a Ruger 1022. This is actually So technically speaking, the firearm in this is not printed. So this black part up here.
Yeah, that's metal.
This is metal. This is an actual 1022 receiver that I bought once upon a time. We do have printed ones that do work.
Oh, okay.
I haven't quite made the conversion yet. I was still messing with this one, but yeah. But everything else on here, outside of the receiver, the bolts, and the barrel, and like the charging system there, is all printed.
So you can make pretty much any gun out there right now, just 3D printing it.
Just sit around and mess around with CAD software, and you'll get, I feel like just holding this for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably cool. You got that cool pirate feel, you know, like you're takes you back. That's pretty sweet. So what so you can buy just that specific part. Now, do you need a license for that part? The specific thing you were talking, the receiver, is that what it's called?
So the receiver, if you were to, you can buy it as just a regular dude, and you have to fill out the 4473.
Yeah.
You have to go to a gun shop, to an FFL to do it, and all the paperwork there. If you printed it, and this is the draw for printing, at least in the US. If you print it, you don't have to do any of that. You just make it at home, and you didn't have to print in order to, like, 3D printing is not we're not revolution, or we are, but we're not inventing this. This whole home building of your firearms has been around for 100 years. Like, people have been doing it for a long time. Any tool and die maker coming out of the 60s made a gun at some point because he thought, hey, this is fun. And he had the equipment and the material to do it. We've just gotten it to a point where it's a lot easier to accomplish in like a midtown Manhattan apartment in the middle of New York, without raising too many questions from the neighbors.
Interesting. So what do you need? What do you need for it? You know, like for someone who wants to print a gun, like what is what do you need? Like what are the requirements?
Well, we wrote a guide. It's at theguide.controlpew.com.
Oh, okay.
And it spells out, get a printer. These are Ender 5s. You can get an Ender 3. It's even cheaper. It's $200 or less.
Oh, wow.
A spool of filament is $20. eSun PLA Plus. There are links in the guide. It'll walk you through all of it, setting up your printer, calibrating it. And it takes, a day or two to sit there and tweak your printer and get it calibrated properly. But once you're there, then it's just, you go, you download the files, you get the software that we told you to get, and you slice the files so you can print them, and then throw them on the printer.
Awesome. What kind of, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't take just any of the, I don't know, is it plastic, or what would the material be? Like, what do you call it? If you go to a store, like, I need a printer, is it filament, or what is it?
Filament, yeah.
Filament, okay, that's the right word.
Yeah. And then it's going to vary a little bit by whatever printer you decide to go with is going to have a specific like type of filament or filament spec that it can work with. But again, like we like the Ender 3s because they're cheap. We like eSun PLA because it's cheap and consistent. And then you can just have all of this now.
Now that's the names of the printers you're talking about right there?
Yeah, the Ender 3 is the name of the printer.
Okay. All right, right on. And then with the filament, I mean, is there like a specific type of like hardness level, or is just like all filament? I don't know. I don't know anything about 3D printing anything. So
there's about a dozen different kinds of common filament. There's PLA, there's PLA plus, there's ABS, there's PETG. I mean, they're all varying.
Consistencies, hardness levels, or like what?
Compositions. They're all varying compositions of different blends of different polymers.
Okay.
PLA Plus is the one we found that works the best. It's super cheap and it's pretty durable and pretty consistent. So
good combination.
All of these are PLA Plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it now? Random question though. Is it recyclable? Can you reuse stuff that's been, like, say you misprint something and you got to scrap it? Can you send it to someone, or can you crush it down and like refilament it?
You can. There are there is hardware to let you do that. It's not quite a perfected hardware yet. They're still working it out. Humidity is a problem. When you let a print sit around for a while and then you try and re-extrude it, you have to reheat it back up to make it into a piece of filament, and the moisture expands and bubbles, and then you get inconsistent filament that leads to bad prints with it. So it's a problem, and it's being like sorted out over time. Over time, all things will improve, but they're not quite there yet.
What is that? Tell me again what that manual is. What did you say that was?
It's theguide.controlpew.com.
.controlpew.com.
Yep.
Here we go. I'm gonna pop this up for everyone to see real quick, because this is it's really in depth here, isn't it?
Yeah, we go deep. It's getting deeper. I'm doing a video series on it now where I gonna step you through all of it.
So here's this is your website here.
Yep.
Getting started. What kind of printer should I buy? Now what? This is great. Wow. Okay. So if you're interested, I mean, Control Pew here has got a full-on website, and now
we tried to spell it out and like make it really easy to get started. So
right on. Yeah. I mean, it looks fun. I love putting stuff together, and then I also really love shooting stuff. And I mean, who doesn't, right? I mean,
right. And actually, I'm glad you have that image up because
here, let me bring it back. Go ahead.
The gold gun up here. This is the FGC9 that we were talking about earlier, where it's the hardest parts, all the parts with complex geometry are all printed. Everything else is a standard screw or a standard component you can order off of AliExpress or McMaster-Carr or wherever else. And then the fire control group is interchangeable with a standard AR-15 group, fire control group. But in the technical download, the packet for all of this has like the links to the Ali stuff you can order for like your replacement, your airsoft counterparts, and then up there the barrel and the ECM barrel there up front. Yeah.
So this is metal here.
Yep.
Okay, and then this looks like a metal spring as well. So there's some metal parts, but for the most part, this is all little 3D printed parts, all these different spots.
Yep.
Interesting. And then, of course, as you said, they're interchangeable with actual, I mean, don't say actual guns because they basically are real guns. It's just with metal guns really is the more accurate way of saying that. Yeah, it's interesting. So that's cool. So that's 3D printed guns, huh? Nice. It doesn't seem
the 101, right?
Yeah, right.
We tried to really easy to bring it to that level where it's digestible for someone to look at it and say, okay, this is something I can do, and then start, because that's the number one hang up is like people will say, okay, this is cool. It sounds complicated. I don't know anything about it, and then they won't start.
Yeah.
So this makes it just a little bit easier, so they can pull that trigger, and it's the way we tell people to look at it is you're making a $200 investment in a hobby, which is not a lot of money to invest in a hobby.
Okay.
Like think about whatever else you're involved. A guitar back there is several $100s, if not several $1,000s. A skateboard, a couple $100. I don't know. I don't skate.
Well, someone actually sent me that.
Okay, fair. But I'm just saying, like, hobbies are expensive. $200 is not a lot for a hobby. And if you don't like it, you're only out $200. If you do like it, you spent $200. You got a printer that will let you print all of this stuff here and many other things. So you won't be left behind at all by someone else getting some fancier printer. Down the road.
Well, I like that. I'm interested in getting a printer. It seems pretty awesome. I have been told. So some people have looked this up for me. So official YouTube policy, we can't hold any guns on a live stream.
Okay.
All right, so unfortunately, we can't pick anything up. So they are behind you. That's cool that we can show them at least. So just YouTube policy. YouTube, sorry, I wasn't sure of the policy. I had it looked up for me. Sorry, don't give me a strike. Apologies. I just want to get to the truth. That's all. So we won't handle anything. But that being said, that's fine. But it does kind of actually lead into what I want to talk about next, because this ease of printing guns definitely scares some people out there, because there's people out there that are really trying to crack down on guns in general. Gun control is, on the forefront of most political conversations. It's always a segment. What about your view stance on guns? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to take people's guns? Are you free? Are you pro 2A? Like, what's the plan? So it's always something. And I feel like 3D printed guns is almost just like a big smack. It's the cryptocurrency of the gun world. It's just kind of, they can't control it, can they? They really can't. So what do you know about the legalities of 3D printed guns?
I mean, I know a lot of politicians are scared because they're politicians, and any amount of independence or power that you grant the people, you're sort of, I hesitate to say ruling over, but that's the fact that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, true.
And anytime you grant those people power, they're likely to turn it against you. Just like anytime we grant government any power, regardless of who's in office, they're likely to turn it against us.
Yeah.
So you look at like executive orders under Obama, and we had a continuation of that under Trump. And I know you like Trump. I'm 50-50 on the guy. He has some policies I like, some I don't. But it's one of those, like, I would rather not grant those powers to the government in the first place. And so, this making your own gun, your own firearms at home is essentially reclaiming what the government took from us in sort of early industrialization of the firearm industry, with
Okay.
the stand up like the large Winchester plants and large government contracts to arm for whatever armed conflict they were involved in. Um, it was a cottage industry that people did in their homes before then, and now we're sort of coming back to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, well, very libertarian too, just like let me be, don't tread on
Right?
me.
Yeah.
I want to make some guns. Whether it be 3D printing or how they used to do back in the day, which they would straight up carve the whole like bottom piece,
Yep.
and then I don't know how they would cast a barrel. I have no idea how it's done, but
It's
I'm
really
sure.
interesting. If you ever make it to Colonial Williamsburg, you watch some of it.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
crazy.
not too far from there. Actually, I went to where did I go for because I went to school outside Philadelphia when I was growing up, and we went to a few different like old civil American Revolution War stuff, and it was
Right.
really cool to see those those sites. And you think back then, as you said, that everyone probably knew how to make guns, and having a gun was just secondary to putting your pants on. That was just kind of the way it was.
Right.
So some people will argue that we don't need it anymore. Well, I say I don't it's funny, I don't even eat meat, but I will defend the right for anyone to go hunting themselves. It all comes back down to hunting and protecting yourself
Yeah.
against animals of all types of animals, because
Right.
we are animals,
Including the two-legged kind that wear suits and
including the
ties.
two-legged time.
You
Yeah,
know.
exactly. So, I want to, I believe the Constitution and our rights as Americans. I mean, we are owed that right. I don't have a gun, but I certainly plan on having one soon. Especially with the wake of what's going on, it's crazy here.
Right?
And I
If
think
if
that.
you if you looked
Go
at
ahead.
2020 and didn't think maybe I need something to defend myself with,
Yeah.
with like the police stations were like, oh, we're gonna limit our support because of COVID,
Yeah.
and okay, well, my house is being broken into and someone's beating me to death. What am I supposed to do?
Right.
That's the sort of reality check that a lot of people, especially in large cities, really needed to wake up to the circumstance that they're kind of in.
Yeah.
So,
True. Yeah, and it's almost like I think the problem with a lot of this gun talk is a lot of people, they kind of jump to conclusions almost. They think because people are going to buy guns, excuse me, it's because they want to shoot somebody. Like they enter that in their mind. They're like, "Oh, well, you're planning for war and you're planning to, you're getting it so that you will shoot somebody because you if someone comes at you, you're just going to shoot them dead." And it's like, I don't think that crosses the minds of the average person. I think the average person is just, if you see someone with a gun on their hip, you're probably not going to mess with them. That
but
alone, right?
there, yeah, there's been a long-standing quote, I think, from Jefferson, which is an armed society is a polite society.
There it is.
If you've got a gun and I've got a gun, we're probably not going to screw with each other in traffic. Like,
Yeah.
road rage drops to zero because we're all like prepared for the worst possible scenario. So
Yeah, it's true.
it's, I don't know, and that's kind of like, I'm okay with that. Like,
Yeah.
that's because I don't mess with people in the first place, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and who messes with people the most? All I can think about is Karens and I don't know, super bullies, because anyone could be a super bully, even Karens, but
right.
it's with the more you get comfortable in society, the more you get complacent in this bubble of, I want to use the word privilege, but I feel like it's being tossed around a lot nowadays. And
Kind of lost its meaning.
the reality is, if you live in America, you're privileged. Even if you're poor, you're privileged. And if you don't think so, you haven't been to the countries that don't have anything, that have to walk a mile to get water, to
Go to
shower, cook,
literally any other
wash.
country.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So these people have lost, like you said, a polite or an armed society is a polite society. Well, not everyone's armed anymore because we don't, we have a fairly decent society now. People can walk down the street without fearing for their life for the most part. I mean, this year has, I'm
Right.
sure gun sales are through the roof, right? I think
Yeah.
It's like
astronomically high.
A record year this year, and
I think last month was the most background checks ever
in a month. Period.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I don't have the statistics up, but I believe you. You know, you're obviously a little bit more in tuned with this world, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. You know, but if suddenly people start going, you know what, I'm gonna get armed. You know,
right?
They're not saying it because they want to kill somebody or shoot somebody. It's just making the society polite again. You
Right.
know, Karens can't Karen as much. You know, not that if a Karen starts Karening. You know, it's a verb and a noun now. So, but if a Karen starts Karening, you know, it's not like someone's gonna pull a gun on her and shoot her.
Right.
People
I think most people understand that's never like the first resort, or like I'm going to get a gun and shoot you. It's more of a I have this in the event that things get so bad I don't have any other option. Right.
Yeah.
It's sort of where we're at. Or where I think most gun owners find themselves, you know, as they sort of get into it. That might be like the beginning stage. But then they think about it just a little bit more, and maybe educate themselves a little bit more on like the legalities of everything, and then like, okay, maybe this is like step 5 or step 8, sort of wherever we're at. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna bring this up here. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead. Finish.
I would say people who have never considered buying a gun or using a gun are in that first stage of, well, if I get a gun, I'm just going to shoot somebody. It's that brand new to this whole thought experiment kind of bright-eyed sort of view on things. So I don't know, it's weird. I like talking people through that a lot. So
right on. So you know what? Let's talk me through it as though I was about to go through that. Like, what would you say to someone like that?
So you're coming in from the position of, I want to buy a gun because I'm gonna have to shoot somebody like immediately, right?
Okay.
I guess.
Do you think that before you say anything else, do you think that's the average thought that most people have when they've never owned a gun before, never handled a gun, but now have chosen to get a gun? That decision.
I think most people's thoughts who are going to buy a gun are, I've seen something. There's some event that's taken place where my security has been shaken because police can't get there in time. It happened too quickly.
Yeah.
5 minutes ago, the AutoZone down the street wasn't on fire. Now it is. Oh, look, there's a huge crowd outside of my house, and they threw a brick through my neighbor's window. They've seen something that's shaken their sort of security in normal everyday life.
Yeah.
And that's why they're thinking, okay, well, what can I do? Because I can't rely on the government to step in and sort of, you know, and sort of cover for me in these emergencies, especially, you know, 2020. Yeah. So they're looking at what they can do, and, you know, security system, couple days of food, maybe I should buy a gun. Right? That's sort of the order that we get into with most people that I've talked to this year, who are new gun owners.
Okay, so now talk to me about how you can convince me that I'm wrong, for one, that it's not that, you know, work it through, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, did I cut out a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now that explains, you know, the type of person that is they're realizing that that's the case. Now, how do you approach them? What do you say to them to correct them, since they're clearly, you know, focused on the wrong aspect of it?
Well, I don't know that they're focused on the wrong aspect, because they're, like I said, they're getting a gun for their own security.
Good point. Yeah. Okay.
So some coaching I might do in that case would be look into the legalities around someone breaking into your house at 2:00 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. You know, what are you going to do when you're confronted by this person? Are you going to scream and yell at them? Because that's probably the first thing you should do. And then if they, you know, continue to break into your home, then it's exceptionally variable at that point. But it's all going to come out in the eventual trial that's going to take place. Like there's going to be an investigation that happens, and whether it's self-defense or not is going to be determined by a DA and a jury. So read your, get to understand your local self-defense laws, your castle doctrine if you have one, things like that, and set yourself up for that set yourself up for that sort of success of being able to meet all the criteria and go into it consciously, right? So read, understand, and then consciously assess if you have, if you can make that sort of plan, and again, you have to plan before it happens. Yeah. Otherwise, you just panic and you do shoot someone. It turns out to be your, I don't know, 15-year-old daughter's boyfriend sneaking in the house, and that becomes a huge problem. So, it's really think it through, assess it, learn, continuously learn, take a couple classes, train some more, get a membership to a range.
Yeah.
So,
no, you nailed it. I mean, that goes way past guns in general. You should know your laws no matter what. But if you're gonna own something like this, it is not a toy. I mean, some people use them as toys, but you can't go into it thinking it's a toy.
Right.
You have to understand it and respect it, because it is it could be lethal. It can kill people, kill something, so you have to understand and respect that part of it. So understanding it, but I think you nailed it though, because once you really look into what you're allowed to do, what actually defending yourself means, it almost kind of, not, it artificially runs your mind through a scenario where, because if you read the rules, you're like, oh, okay, so everyone always puts themselves in that position, and that's how you naturally see things. So in your head, you've already kind of gone through the motions, and you're already that much more established and ready for whenever it does happen. So that maybe you start screaming and scare them off because you announce that you have a gun, and they freaking bolt because I'm like Polk County in Florida, for example. The sheriff came out and went on the news and just said, look, you're thinking about robbing people in Polk County. Let me just say, they're armed, and I have instructed them to defend their homes and their families to the full extent of the law, and they have guns. So fair warning, people out there that are trying to loot and pillage and whatever. And it's like, all right, well, that's a castle doctrine state. But then, of course, you have the McCloskeys that are also in a castle doctrine state that just came out when people were on private property. They allegedly say that they were being threatened. Now, there's no videos of people threatening them, and that's probably the biggest controversy. But it's a castle doctrine state. They had every right to go out and defend their property, as the AG has said and stated. Now, he said that he's going to get rid of their charges, but they're still there. They're still dealing with it. So we don't really know. So it is kind of a scary place, a scary time right now, as far as the laws. They seem to be like bending them and shifting them to kind of whatever goes. It's almost like, what are the laws anymore? So
the way I see it, a motivated district attorney who's looking for like a promotion or something, if they find a case that has a political charge, they'll exploit that political charge to whatever end they desire and get their promotion, because that's how that sort of that's kind of how that sort of thing works. Like you have to get that you have to be known as that DA, and then you have to win, and then you gain a couple points, you stay on people's mouths for the next whatever, and then you get that that next bump up, or you get to run for office next year because you've started your own little branding campaign there, and so it all comes back to media and politics, and it sickens me a little bit, but sort of where we're at.
Oh, I agree with you there, man. The media and politics it's been that's basically been my life for the past 7-8 months.
Right.
So you started telling me a little bit about California, because you asked me where I was at, and you're like, "You're not in Cali, are you?" And I was like, "Oh, why? What's going on in California?" And I guess you had some someone you knew from California. What were you saying about that?
Oh, it's that most of my California's laws are so ridiculous that most of the messages that I get that relate to something in California are just the most ridiculous just assembles of word soup that you could ever imagine. None of the laws make sense, and half of them counteract or contradict each other. Yeah. So no, like everyone in California is like, I don't understand the law. I don't know what I can do. There was a guy who messaged me the other day. Hey, I bought a pistol, a handgun from an FFL, and I broke it. Can I 3D print a frame? Because going through another like California special background check is ridiculous. It takes 6 months. So can I 3D print a frame and swap the serial number from one to the other? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's illegal under most laws because you're destroying your. It becomes weird because you should be able to because it's your property,
right?
And and you're not trying to like pull one over on anyone. You're just trying to like maintain your property. So, I mean, I see it as fine, but then, I'm sure some motivated DA will be like, no, you've committed a felony. Go to jail for 20 years and pay $500,000 in fines. Something ridiculous for nothing.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't surprise me.
But no, I'm pretty sure
something caught my ear.
Got shut down. So,
wait, to check your Instagram got shut down.
I don't know. It's not letting me load any messages on Instagram. I was trying to reference the message that I got, and I can't read it.
Oh, that's what you're doing there, huh?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, God.
Oh, man. Instagram just dropped the hammer.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll check it later. It's fine.
Well, it is a crazy time. I mean, censorship it feels like everybody's getting censored right now. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if my channel was censored because... Right. I like talking about the truth, and the truth sometimes is it's not everyone wants that to get out. And
hey, you remember when the left liked to be controversial?
No, I don't. When was that?
I don't know. I think like 1990 or something.
Oh my gosh, I was a kid in 1990.
I was too, but I was like, oh, look, lesbians. Okay, cool. I don't care.
That was like the big deal. Ooh.
Right. Like my grandparents were upset, but I'm like,
no one cared.
Why is this a problem? Get over it.
Yeah. It's like, it's not a big deal. Whatever. They love each other. Okay. But that used to be, that was like the big thing of the time. And peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
The president actually seems to have gotten. Anyway, whatever. I want to ask, something just caught my ear though when you were talking about someone who was talking to you from California. So they bought a gun. They obviously went through the numbers to legally buy the gun.
Mm-hmm.
The gun broke.
Yep.
Now, for them to get another gun, they had to go through the entire process again?
Yeah, because it's all managed by the serial number on the gun. You go through it to get the serial number that's on the gun, and then you basically if you break the gun, that serial number is invalid anymore. So you have to buy another gun, which involves another serial number and another background check, another whatever paperwork.
See, that's what I don't understand. Why would you need... If you already had a background check, wouldn't that mean like, all right, we checked your background. Right. Your background's there. You can buy guns now.
Maybe you became a criminal since you bought the first one and you were.
Oh.
But that would be illegal, and we all know that never happens. No one ever breaks laws, right? So
okay, all right. I mean, I guess I could see that. So since the first time you could have become a felon, I guess, which they're not allowed to buy guns anymore. That's the case, right? I don't actually know the laws on it too well.
I think felony or a misdemeanor involving more than 1 year of a prison sentence or a domestic abuse.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's pretty uniform across the country.
All right. Interesting. Have you heard about this honey badger thing?
Mm-hmm.
So someone actually brought this to my attention in a super chat yesterday, and they said, please ask him about the whole honey badger thing. So I got this website here. Mm-hmm. This is ATF issues cease and desist for the honey badger pistol.
Right.
And I guess it has something to do with the fact that this is too high capacity, or
Yeah.
that it's considered a handgun, right?
Right.
What do you know about
Talking
this? Tell me
in the
about it.
immediate sense, right? So the diddly bob on the back there, where that looks like a
Oh,
stock
let me
but isn't
bring
a
it.
stock, where it's got the
This
strap.
thing?
Yeah, it's got that
Okay.
hole going through it. That was designed so that you could put your arm through it, and it would help you stabilize a larger, because it's a pistol. It would help you stabilize a pistol if you're like a disabled shooter.
Ah, I see.
Some
Okay.
arm
So
injury,
it
some
would, it
hand
would like
injury.
strap to your wrist, basically, or your
Right.
forearm.
And the ATF approved that for that reason and for that purpose.
Okay.
And there was a little bit of controversy in the early days of it over whether or not you could shoulder it or whatever, and if you was remanufacturing, if you decided to shoulder it, it didn't make any sense. It's political, whatever. Specifically in this case, though, what the ATF is saying is that they're not going to evaluate the brace on its own. They're going to evaluate the firearm in its totality before they can determine whether or not that brace is not a stock, basically.
Oh.
And the reason this is important is because of the National Firearms Act, which says that a rifle with a traditional rifle with a stock that was designed to be fired from the shoulder. I'm butchering the legalese here because I'm not a lawyer. Here's the disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay.
But
neither am I, for the record.
So a rifle designed to be fired from the shoulder or with two hands, has to have a barrel over 16 inches. If it has a barrel of less than 16 inches, it's now a short-barreled rifle. And subject to the National Firearms Act, you have to do a federal-level background check through the ATF directly, a special one, not the normal 4473 one, and then you have to pay them an extra $200 for the privilege of owning this thing.
Of course you do.
And so that's essentially the argument over this. What the ATF is saying, because the ATF is saying, well, no, this is actually a short-barreled rifle. It's not a pistol, as it was designed and manufactured with brace technology that was already previously approved. This is, in fact, a short-barreled rifle based on what the ATF is saying, and it's silly and they're wrong.
So why would they need to? What are they exactly telling them to cease and desist? Like, why is it?
Right.
Like,
so
what's the controversy, though? Like, okay, it's a long rifle, it's a short-barreled rifle, and
well, I feel like, so we get back into the political slant, and it's a little bit of a tin hat theory on my end.
Okay,
but I believe the people at the ATF, the higher ups, were Obama era appointees. And I believe they're preparing for a Biden victory in the upcoming election. And so this is them, because this is a $2,000 pistol. I think that they thought they could just bully the queue into, pulling it off the market, and they wouldn't piss off all the gun owners everywhere, because not a lot of people own these, because they were so expensive. And so I feel like this was a trial run at a further legislation of the pistol brace technology, I guess. So I think this was a preparatory sort of testing the water and screwing with people's livelihoods over basically political junk.
Here's a better picture of that brace. So I guess it opens up. It's kind of like a
right. And this design, this technology already exists in a dozen other braces that are on the market. So it didn't make, from a technical standpoint, it didn't make any sense for them to say that, to write this to write the cease and desist to begin with.
Yeah, there was it says here, based on the product description on your website, ATF believes these firearms are designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder and may be classified as a short-barreled rifle under the GCA and NFA. So even though, that doesn't look like here actually it looks like you could shoulder it, because it's extended out so that you can. I got to be honest, this thing looks pretty sweet.
No, it's a nice
cool
rifle. I'm not a huge fan of Q as a company, just because I disagree with some of their sort of propaganda. But
Oh, okay.
And things that they've said. But it's a sexy rifle. I like it. I kind of want one, but
yeah,
it's $2,000. I'll never buy one.
yeah, that's a little pricey,
It's a
and
hard
you
pill
can
to
just
swallow.
print out. You can
Right.
just print out. Why spend $2,000 on a gun when you
Right.
can,
I can
buy?
print the.
You said
Right.
you get to $200. You can get a $200 printer. I mean, that seems a
Yeah.
little cheap, actually.
Yeah.
Is that? I
Right.
mean, is it going to get the job done? I mean, are you gonna?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a $200 printer and a $2,000 printer? Like,
Um.
what's in quality? I mean, is it gonna be noticeable?
I mean, you're still gonna have the same problems you have with a $200 printer. It might be a little more stable. It might be a little more resilient, but
Okay.
like a $200 printer will get the job done.
And really is just the design, I guess. Then, huh?
Yeah. So like we recommend the Ender 3. It's the bed flips back and forth on it when you're printing, and if you print large objects on it, the mass can become an issue if you're not set up to deal with it.
Okay.
Which is why I switched my production printers to Ender 5s, where the bed is just is flat, and then it just drops down over time as the print goes through.
Ah, okay.
So it's less mass in motion, which is a little more stable of a platform.
Okay. So
Little
the
more
platform
expensive,
itself is what moves
right?
as it prints. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about 3D printing stuff, but that's cool though.
If I could
Awesome.
figure out how to maneuver it around my lights, I'd show you the Ender 3 that's sitting right next to me.
Oh, you got another printer. How many printers do you have?
Like 12.
Wow, 12 printers.
I've got a bunch up here. I've got a couple more in the basement. I've got like 4 or 5 in boxes that I haven't even put together yet.
Wow. Okay.
Busy.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it is your job, right? That's
right.
That's what
I'm trying. We're getting.
So what is it? I mean, I know you have this website. Let me pull it up again. So this is your website. I mean, is this what you do for a living?
No, I have a regular 9 to 5 like most people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is like my side gig. I'm trying to make it my full-time deal. We'll get
Right
there
on.
eventually. But yeah,
So
this is
what do you sell on this site then?
Patches and shirts and some stickers and swag to support some of the devs. We host a donation portal to fund some of their development directly. Some of the stickers and stuff that I have on there support
Don't
them.
tell
So
on
like,
me.
yeah. So yeah, this is kind of what I do. Mostly it's media and sharing news about what we're doing in the community, what we're working on, any releases that we have that come out. So
do you sell designs? So
nope.
where would people come get designs?
I'm probably not allowed to say it.
Oh, okay. I don't want to get you in trouble,
well,
and
no,
I don't want to get in trouble either.
It's because it's YouTube.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't know actually the legalities. Don't tell me. Never mind. Forget I asked.
Right. If you go to my site, you can find information about it's like the breadcrumbs, right? You got to follow all the crumbs. So
okay.
If you start with Google and you go to controlq.com, and then you go further from there on your own.
Well, I don't know about going to Google because then they'll know everything you just did.
Right. Well, DuckDuckGo then.
I use DuckDuckGo. I actually just got the browser Brave, which
nice.
People have been suggesting to me, and it is fantastic. Let me just I'll pull up a new window. 1,500 trackers and ads have been blocked since I got it. That's this morning.
Nice.
Of me just strolling the internet trying to look at the news and stuff. I mean, crazy news. Have you been paying attention this week to the news? My goodness.
I've been trying. Good Lord. There's too much going on.
I know, it's nuts. I mean, Biden is nowhere to be seen with all the stuff that's coming out. I mean, you got Tubin caught on the do you know about that guy who was caught wanking it on a Zoom meeting? Some New York writer. Now get this. Not only was he caught, they're trying to defend it. Let me pull up this article. It is hilarious. I'm sorry. I cannot stop laughing about this.
Oh my God.
I thought it was satire, right? At first, when they were basically going like, man, it's not that bad. We really need to just, realize, Jeffrey Toobin's history of bad sexual judgment is really about our unease with masturbation. It's like, no one cares about masturbation. Everyone's cool with it. You do your thing. When you're not on a professional Zoom meeting in the middle of the day, when you're supposed to be a professional in your job, he didn't even get fired.
Seriously?
He got suspended.
I mean, I feel like this is the what was the plant, the potted plant with God,
What?
Wink started with a W. What was his name?
I don't know. I know Louis C.K. got he asked somebody if he could show him, and they said yes, and he did, and then they were like, okay, now I'm uncomfortable, and he's like, oh, well, I asked.
Right?
It was like that,
I mean,
and they canceled him for it, and this guy, they're defending him. In another article I read, they straight up said, well, Joe Biden needs all hands on deck. He needs all the people on his side that he can get. It's just like, what? Did you just say all hands on deck? Oh, these guys, these people I don't even think they realize.
I think they're just too far into the Kool-Aid at this point. I don't know.
They are
it's a strange time.
Drowning in the Kool-Aid.
Oh man.
But it's interesting how I had a cryptocurrency expert on last week, and we were talking about what cryptocurrency is, and it's kind of just taking the power away from banks, because you can't track it. There's nothing you could do. Banks are just like, oh, we're losing our power. So cryptocurrency is that power. The internet is the same thing with media. It's taking away the powers of the media because we can look it up ourselves. Media, we don't need you to tell us what's going on. I just look myself. Like I see what's going on.
Absolutely.
And then, so, to bring it in, 3D printing guns, that's kind of what it's about, right? I mean, 3D... Go ahead.
I'd say even broader than 3D printing guns. 3D printing anything means you don't have to order it off of Amazon.
Good point.
Centralized manufacturing, and we tell you to buy your printer off Amazon, your filament off Amazon. Fine, right? But you didn't have to buy whatever the thing you printed off of Amazon. You've taken some of that back. You said, okay, I'm going to make this myself.
I love that. You're absolutely right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Grow your own food, start your own garden.
And then you think about, well, there's actually a garden that uses 3D printing technology. It doesn't print, but it uses the same kind of conveyor system to automatically water, feed all of the different plants. It uses a computer to know where the plants are, know what kind of plants it needs, see, oh, that area is dry. We need to give that spot a little bit more water. And then you think about this new thing. I did an episode maybe 3 weeks ago now about 3D printing, the future of 3D printing. They're 3D printing molecules now.
Yep.
That's insane. So replicators of Star Trek, we're getting it. I mean, we're making guns.
Soon. Like another 15 years, maybe? I don't know.
And that's soon. 15 years. That'd be nuts.
Right?
If we can be like, I need something 3D printed, in
tea,
5 hours.
Earl Grey, hot.
Yeah, tea. Nice. Obviously a Trek fan.
Right?
But you think about it, like we are getting close. We can might be able to print whatever we want. Maybe a UFO. You can't see the UFO, everybody, but I'm spinning it right now. It is currently being spun. That's okay. You can't see it, but I've got a UFO here that is spinning. Yeah. So wow, the future is crazy. We are like, it's what a crazy year. What a crazy time to be alive, right?
Right.
Man, it is insane. All right, so let's
of all the messed up things 2020 has produced, like this is kind of uplifting. we're too uplifting for this year. Stop it.
Right? No, never. I will never stop trying to be optimistic. If you have a choice, it's a choice as far as I'm concerned to be optimistic or pessimistic. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a realist, okay? Yeah. But there's an optimistic realist and a pessimistic realist.
You're a realist with hope.
There it is. I like that. Yeah, I like that. All right, I'm going to get into some super chats here, and so we can kind of talk about some questions. Mark Robershaw, of course, first at bat, says, Transporter in Star Trek could clone you endlessly. That's true. I guess that's how it worked, right?
That's terrifying. Like a clone.
It is actually frightening.
I don't know how I would deal with more than one of me.
No? Well, you could probably print a lot more stuff.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't have to, go fix my printer. But
well, technically, it would be you.
Right, but it would still be me.
Right? I mean, I don't know. Ian Hall says, we need guns. We all need guns. Why? Bears, no bears. Snakes, no snakes. Mountain lions, okay, no mountain lions. Bigfoot, Checkmate, my friend. Checkmate. Bigfoot. All right. Well, you never know when Bigfoot's going to come at you. Andrew Hillier says, remember, folks, phaser will be the next 2A challenge in the future. Secure 3D printing, secure Star Wars phasers. Well, Star Trek phasers? Was there phasers in Star Wars also?
No. Star Wars had blasters.
That's right. Blasters. Come on, Andrew. You should know this by now, right? Phasers,
right?
Trek, blasters, wars. Okay. We're going to forgive you this time. It's okay.
No, it is really funny that you bring that up.
Why?
Oh my God, where is it?
What do you got?
Of all the days to not have the media on hand, let me flip over to my desktop here. Oh, are we gonna? There we go. Okay, desktop center. There it is.
Oh, what is that?
This is a 1022 body that is being developed.
So it's an actual phaser?
No, it's it uses a 1022 1022 frame and receiver and barrel and I think trigger group too.
Oh, there we go.
It's dressed up like a Romulan phaser, I think.
Oh, that is cool. That is cool looking.
So there you go.
So that's actually a pistol.
Progress. Then. Yeah, this is actually a pistol.
That's pretty dope. So you actually have, a Romulan pistol coming out. That's pretty dope. I love the inception going on that main screen. That's kind of fun.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's see what we got here. Mark Robishaw again says, I like the guns in Mass Effect. I never played Mass Effect. Are you a gamer much?
I game every now and again. I haven't for a long time because it's
what's your game of choice?
Busy with other stuff. Civ 6 usually.
Sims 6.
Civilization.
Oh, Civilization 6.
Yeah.
I hear really good things about Civilization.
It's a good game. It's nice for a long afternoon of I've got nothing else to do or I'm waiting for a friend. But yeah.
Just run a Civilization. That's cool. Yeah, I've never done that.
Mass Effect would be the dream guns though, because they all fold up and collapse down to this big, so you can have a nice large battle rifle that just collapses something you can fit in your pocket.
Dope.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's the future, right? Who knows? Let's see. We got Ian Hall says, "Have you tried it with metal 3D printer? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it
print with metal.
It is. It costs about $50,000 to get into, and you can't do it in your house. So you need a garage or a shed at the very least, or a production facility would be even more appropriate. Mark Forge has one, and they're getting there with the in-home type stuff, but it's too much furnaces and stuff like that because you still have to melt out your binding agent and solidify all of the metal particles.
Yeah.
And then you have tolerance issues sometimes, and it becomes a process. So I haven't messed with it yet. I'd like to. If they want to send me one, I'm down. But yeah, I don't have $50,000 to burn on the hobby yet. So
is that just the printer alone? The metal printer?
If I looked at it right, it was their whole production setup. So that would get you from start to finish, but it's still $50,000.
Yeah, I know that's pretty crazy. Right on. Mark Robershaw again says, "Don't need to bring the gun, just bring the printer." Good point. I mean, that's probably how they're going to handle making things on Mars. We're going to Mars,
right?
We're going to go out there, and they're going to need things.
Yeah. If you don't have the material or a production facility, industrialization has spoiled us pretty heavily with just the ability to have things.
Yes.
So to lose all of that on Mars, is you got to bring all that with you.
Yep, absolutely. Mark again says, "Print me a Doom Super Shotgun, please." Do you know what that one looks like?
I've seen it.
It's pretty good.
God, if only.
Yeah.
Look at Jeff Rodriguez is doing a Liberator 12K project. It's 3D printable 12 gauge shotguns. It's the closest thing we've got so far, and it's pretty
wow.
Good.
Well, no, I want mine with a full on chain claw that comes out, flaming chain claw.
If only.
Or I'm not interested then.
Right.
Let's see, Mark again
technology's
says,
not there yet.
Yeah, it will be yet. I like where you said yet there. Mark says, swap gunpowder for electromagnetic rails. That's actually interesting. What do you know about rail guns? Is that
I
in the future?
Yeah, I've looked at it quite a bit. Power capacity is a problem.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Accelerating something that much takes quite a bit of like electrical energy.
Yeah.
It just becomes problematic to carry that with you.
Okay.
You'd need the first iteration you'd have to have like a backpack generator almost, or
Okay.
like a Tesla power cell but on your back.
Right.
And then you'd only get like 2 shots out of it or something.
Well,
Like
and
we're talking like lethal velocities, not like I'm gonna punch a hole in a pop can or something.
Yeah.
So
well, and the pushing back at you, like if
right.
it's shot at that strong, I mean, you think about a gun, it's got the recoil, but then a rail gun, probably similar, right? I guess.
Well, I
don't know.
mean, you're just trying to match the same velocity of the projectile. So the projectile, if we keep the same mass of projectile, then it should all equal out at the end. But you're still talking about, I have to carry a 30-pound backpack to get 3 shots out of this thing, and just the economy isn't there for any kind of like real investment in the space yet. So soon, I mean, it's every year batteries get smaller. So
yeah, true. That's true.
You know, your phone has more power than like the Apollo 13, the entire shuttle, basically. So
it's pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Have you seen the video of those guys that made the plasma lightsaber?
Yeah, the hacksmith.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. If you hadn't seen it, you could check it out. It's on YouTube. I don't know exactly what to look up, but just look up real life lightsaber.
Hacksmith lightsaber. Yeah.
Is that it? The hacksmith? Right.
Yeah.
Jedi Knight Anaquin Cringewalker says, I've nearly a patent on plastic material. If I wanted to put it in a 3D printer, any place I could find the stress requirements for your designs?
No.
No.
Okay. A lot of it depends on how well you've printed it in the first place. Okay. So like a stress requirement or a stress diagram is something that we would use in engineering for manufacturing. If we're doing a large production of something, if we're going to mass produce a receiver for a gun or something, a company would do a stress diagram on their part to sort of look it over. We're doing one-offs, and then we're handing this out to the world. We're doing one-offs. We're proofing that they work. We're handing them to the world, and everyone in the world is going to print that thing a little differently.
Yeah.
So
true. Now, when you say who are you referring to?
Deterrence Dispense. That's the printing community that I sort of work a lot with and represent out here, I guess, for lack of a better term.
No, that's fine. Right on. Let's see. Mark Robershaw again says, bees love cannons. I'm not going to say the word, but they love them cannons. We'll put it that way. Be Strong and Courageous says, Governor Gavin Newsom just banned all plastic in California. Thanks, Adam, for showing this. He banned all plastic. So, all plastic. So, I guess 3D printing anything is out in California now.
Well, 3D printing, straws, whatever.
Gavin Newsom, man.
Right?
That guy. I don't understand that man at all. Mark Robershaw again. It's a toy gun, YouTube. Honest. I swear. It's a toy gun. Yeah. I actually know the rules about you're not allowed to hold guns in a live stream. So sorry, YouTube, I didn't know. I promise I won't do it again. Team Sixpack says, hey, Adam, you got to get Don the Pleb on from Plebeian Media. Big freedom guy. You'll like him. Thank you very much. I'll check him out. Leonardo says, make America make arms again. Yeah. Or make America make all of their own things again. And cherish the things that they have and not just keep making things and buying things just to fill a hole that won't ever be filled by buying and making things. So lots of different levels there. Mark again says 3D printed organs, 3D printed limbs, 3D printed Joe. Leave Bigfoot alone. All right, Mark. All right, I will. It says walk softly and carry a big gun. Mark Robertshaw is just a classic
right?
As far as people who super chat me. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. Robert Wiles, how you doing? I have a fake leg. The guy who makes it had someone ask him if he could make a slot like RoboCop. He could, but he doesn't want the headache of if he does anything bad. Have a blessed night and life. Thank you very much, Robert Wiles. Yeah, I'm and I'm glad that you were able to walk again with it. I remember, you've been super chatting us your journey so far in the past 2 months. It's pretty great, and kind of cool to think about having a fake leg with a gun that pulls out like RoboCop, where you could just pick it up, and that's pretty dope. I got to be honest.
That would be dope.
It would be pretty cool, Robert. If that ever happens, it seems like you know the guy, so I mean, maybe you can make it happen. If you do, make sure you send me some photos, because I want to see. That'd be pretty cool. Dude, and maybe
the internet demands pictures. Get those to me too.
Yeah, well, maybe we can 3D print it, right? I mean, it's
why not?
The future. We're 3D printing the guns themselves. Why wouldn't you be able to 3D print some sort of mechanism that opens up just like the RoboCop stuff?
They already 3D print a bunch of prosthetics, so
right on. Yeah, makes sense. Saint Trilby says the Signal is the dopest song I've heard this year. You guys keep changing hearts and minds. I don't know what the Signal is. What's the Signal? I don't even know that song. So I'm gonna
we produce a lot of music that goes along with our release trailers.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. So they're all up on my YouTube channel.
Nice.
I can't. I don't know how. It's secret.
I like that. Okay.
We know people who know people, and we arrange it.
Awesome, but clearly it's quality. I mean, changing hearts and minds. It's like the dopest song that Saint Trilby's heard this year. That's pretty huge. It's pretty huge.
we do a lot with a little. People are motivated, and they enjoy the troll, I guess.
Yeah. Well, people love their guns too.
Right.
Let's see. Mark again says, "I'll take a Fat Man mini launcher. Thank you." That's a Fallout reference. I don't know if you know Fallout, but you clearly do. That's cool.
Yeah, I know him well.
Awesome. Ian Hall again. Because, Adam, people that don't want people to have guns are idiots. They don't know they need the gun because Bigfoot and Antifa. Yeah, I mean, guns are. There's always going to be someone with a gun that will use it. That's something that most people have forgotten, because we live in an amazing place, and it might not always be amazing, and there's not everyone out there is a good person. So I don't know. It's a long conversation right there. Let's see. The Gray Gamers. What do you think of Joji? The song Run, right? I think that's Joji. The song was Run, right? I think it was a cool song. It was a cool song. I actually really dug it. Thanks, Gray Gamers. Again, the secret is that Joji is the same guy that made the vegan video. What's your thoughts on that? Whoa, are you serious? The Frank, I don't know, some Friggy Frank or something, the vegan thing, that was obnoxious. And then the song, the music, I was actually rather impressed. I thought it was really good. In fact, I posted in my Discord. I'm like, this is a pretty cool song. I would never have been able to guess that it was the same person. Never. I would never have gotten that. Socialism is for Fig says we need to bring back education on firearms in schools, but instead we spread fear about them. The firearm is not the problem. The politicking is. Gonna have to agree with you. Yep.
We get much further down this rabbit hole. Schools are going to be the problem.
That's a whole nother thing. I mean, there is the politicking though. Actually, that's the same. It's the same, because what are schools now? It's the teachers union, which is the biggest union in America, and they have a lot of political ties and political pulls, and now they're basically one and the same. So Sarah says, I didn't get a notification when you went live like I normally do. I hope your channel isn't being quieted as well. I don't know. I mean, I've been talking about Philip Anderson. Yesterday I did an episode on the DOJ going after Google. Facebook and Twitter were meddling with elections. I'm talking about that kind of stuff. Look, I'm talking about stuff that I think is important. 3D guns, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if YouTube's going to suddenly decide I'm too dangerous. I'm not going to stop talking about what I'm talking about, because I think this is all important stuff. And as I said, we got to be informed. The general populace should be informed about what's going on. We shouldn't be kept in the dark just because they think that we would freak out, or that we would, I don't know what they think. You know, I truly think there's people out there that think that most people are stupid, and I think that's ridiculous. You know, I of course give people the benefit of the doubt. So, but thank you for showing up anyway, Sarah. I appreciate you. JC Monk says from Joe Biden's website, Stop Ghost Guns includes 3D printing guns schematic. JoeBiden.com. I saw this actually. Have you seen this? I think someone actually posted on your post.
I saw something about it earlier today.
Let me see if I could pull this up real quick.
Let's read it.
Someone said something about asking us to talk about it, and I just want to see if I can find this. Man, I don't know where it is. That's okay. Sorry. Maybe if I could find it real quick. Anyway, I'll explain what it was. So on Joe Biden's website, he's essentially saying we got to control the ghost guns, which is I'm assuming that's what they're calling the 3D printed guns, because you know they can't control it, and that's what I was talking about. Everything else, they are taking away the power from the government, cryptocurrency. Taking the power away from the banks, you know. What else we got? The internet. It's taking the power away from the media. You know, we're taking the power away from them all, and that's what they're afraid of. I can't find that.
I've got it on mine.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah. Let me give you full screen. Check this out. There it is. Oh, it's backwards. Can you flip that around?
Oh, maybe.
That is a difficult thing, and it's okay. You know, why don't you just read it? Oh yeah, you did. We're able to flip it around. Check it.
There we go.
Let me see that.
All right. So one way people that cannot legally obtain a gun may gain access to a weapon by assembling one on their own, either by buying a kit of disassembled gun parts or 3D printing a working firearm. Biden will stop the proliferation of these so-called ghost guns by passing legislation requiring that purchasers of gun kits or 3D printing code pass a federal background check. Everything else is useless, but this first part is funny because this stuff has always been on the internet for free. It always will be forever.
That's what I don't understand. Like, how are they going to stop that?
Yeah.
You're just going to make it more difficult for people who will go about it through the legal means. And if those people will go about it through the legal means, they're going to go. It doesn't matter if 3D printed or not. It's the people that are going to go do it anyway. That will. You can't stop that until you go full authoritarian. Is that what you're trying to do, Joe Biden? Yes, he is. The Democrats are absolutely trying to take control of everything. It is ridiculous. All right. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. Actually, I forgot to. I'm glad we got to talk about that a little bit. And I just got a super chat jump. Give me a second. Leonardo says, "Free men don't ask." All right. I mean, you know, we are free. I mean, we should be able to do what we do. I mean, granted, I do respect the rule of law. I do feel like we need laws. I'm not a big L libertarian, you know, but I do feel like we need to, you know, have some sort of law, you know, because you can't have people run around killing people. If there's no laws, then that would be legal. And I think that would be obviously right. we need laws. All right. JG says Pew is sending the signal loud and clear, homie. Thanks for having him on, Adam. I appreciate you, JG. Right on. My pleasure. SoCal Gunner says after every gun purchase, you still have to wait 10 days for every gun you buy. Also, you're not allowed to 3D print a handgun in California. It's not on the roster. It has to be made single shot handgun. Oh, so you can only do a single shot handgun if you're going to 3D print in California. Man, California, man, everyone's leaving. There's a mass exodus from California because it's a crazy place. JG says more gun talk. I mean, yeah, we've been rapping about guns. It's pretty great.
Right.
Small SC says, "You mad lad, you had Control Pew on. Keep up the good work, Adam. Also, shout out to Pew for motivating me to finish setting up my Perusa i2 I was gifted." All right. Yeah, right on. Shout out to Control Pew. Seriously, and let me just, you know, take a second to add. Thanks for joining me. It's been a great conversation.
Oh, my pleasure. I appreciate having you on. If you have somebody who wants to talk about guns, I'm always down. You know,
right on.
Fun. So I like your show, and I like your show when I'm not on. So you know.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. That's great.
It's even better now.
Nice. Socialism is for Fig says, why would I want a polymer upper? Isn't that a little weak? And uppers are not considered the firearm. So just go to Palmetto State to purchase.
Okay. What happens when you can't? Like now.
Good point. That's a good point. I mean, it might be a little weak, but if you can't, you have the ability to. So
100 shots is better than 100 shots I can do is better than 1,000 shots I can do in like 8 years when the inventory finally catches up and they start shipping again.
Yeah,
or if they just ban them and make them illegal. Now the arbitrary definition of whatever the ATF thinks is a firearm has changed now. Now it includes the upper receiver. Now you have to do more paperwork.
Yeah.
I mean, why?
Right. Well, at least the laws that I know that are here compared to Jersey, where we were living before, are significantly easier. Now, if you want to buy a handgun, you have to get a background check. But if you want to get a rifle, which I think I'm going to get, you don't have to get a background check. So that's pretty sweet. So I can't wait for that. I do need to go get my license, and there's like or not just a license, just a state ID, because I'm going to keep my license in Arizona. It doesn't expire until 2049. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Irving says, I can't wait for lightsabers to be protected by the Second Amendment.
Lightsabers are already protected by the Second Amendment. So
are they really? Would they be considered a weapon or some sort of?
They're an arm of some kind.
Okay, so that's a good point.
My pocket knife is protected by the Second Amendment.
Right on.
And like the rock that my wife uses to line the garden is also protected under the Second Amendment. So
all right.
Cheers.
Okay. All right. Right. I get that. Jedi Knight Anaquin Cringewalker says, if you want an awesome sci-fi gun to 3D print, the AR2, its Combine Pulse SMG variant is even cooler. Google it for a cool 3D printed version. Cool. The AR2. I don't know much about that. Do you know what that is?
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. Check it out. Dad says, thanks to you and Ivan, me and some friends have made some FMDA 17 and low points, or maybe IO points. I think low points. Love the release trailers too. Shout out to Control Pew. Right on. JG says, can you ask Pew to talk about what about ammo? People always say you can't print ammo. That is a really good point. Can you print ammo? What's up with that?
We're getting there. We're at least getting to the point where you can start making it at home.
Okay.
We found a couple holes in legislation, which is like step one of getting all this sorted, for like people in Europe to make their own firearm, their own ammunition rather. And we're starting to work on like advanced chemistry to get the nitrocellulose powder down to make like smokeless powder, which is a modern combustible powder in your standard ammunition.
Okay.
Black powder is really easy to do. You can get it from any gardening store. It's a couple of components. You just mix them together. And it's black powder. So we're getting there.
Wow. Interesting. The future's coming.
Right.
Oh, I just had a super chat jump. Give me a second. So I find out where we were. Here we go. The Freezing Ton says, very interesting topic. I really enjoy how you've been mixing up the topics of the show. Mr. Pugh, you have earned a new follower. Right on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Feezing. The Feezing Ton. Be strong and courageous says, joke, brother. LOL. This man regulates everything. Yeah, Gavin Newsom, seems to be regulating everything. It's crazy. Samuel, he's trying. Samuel Eddy says, shout out to Phoenix Ammunition. Awesome guys up here in Michigan sending out freedom seeds. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they sent me and Ivan some ammo to help with some testing.
Oh, cool. Right on. Awesome. So you know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Good
on,
people.
Right on. Good people. Mark Robershaw says Mass Effect uses a block of iron for ammo, and they shave off tiny pieces and use electromagnetic to fire. Basically, limitless ammo. Interesting. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could fold up a big block of iron in your pocket though.
Right, might get a little heavy.
Yeah.
We'll just build a replicator in there, and then it'll just replicate the iron, and it's fine.
What? In the gun itself?
In the gun, yeah.
That makes
sense. You have
sense.
a replicator to make the gun, and then another replicator in the gun to make the ammo. And perfect system.
Yep. Mark Robershaw says Bigfoot is innocent. He was framed. I don't know. I need proof. Mark Robershaw again says it's the Romulan disruptor, not phaser, you noob. Hey, I was just reading super chats. All right. I was just reading the super chat. Oh no, that was you. You were saying it.
Right. No, they've revoked my nerd card. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry, internet.
You are a
Failed
noob
you.
as far as Mark Robichaud. He clearly
I am
knows the
new.
Romulan disruptor. That does actually sound right.
Right.
So you're off the show. Get out of here. I thought you were supposed to be an expert. Oh, let's see. The ribs on Adam's shirt. You could have at least put some barbecue sauce on me. What? What are you talking about? Anyway. There's always some inanimate objects that like to super chat me. The Great Gamer says, listen to Pink Guy Dumplings from the Pink Season album. The album is as offensive trolling as it comes, but there's some legit bangers as well. Pink Eye is also Joji and Filthy Frank. All right, this guy has really mastered the YouTube waves, huh? Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Adam's Guitar says, I'm tired of looking up at this board. Well, I think they're friends. I think they're friends. Don't worry. John Pete says, Control Pew, keep an eye out for a bullpup AR9 I've designed. I'll send it your way when it's finalized. I love your work. Right on. Bobcat says the U.S. Army is working on 3D printed 40 millimeter grenades. Wow. That's interesting. Did you just put noob over your head?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's wonderful. Glorious. Thomas Caldwell says, how about the First Amendment? Isn't that the argument that defense distributed used against the DOJ? I may have made an FCG9 and extendees 30 round magazine, allegedly, shall not infringe is pretty clear. Love, Pew. It is pretty clear, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is from Gavin Newsom's regulations. We never end, bro. Nice. Jacob says, the government wants to stop us from 3D printing firearms because it's dangerous, but you can still buy the Anarchist Cookbook on Amazon. Right. Exactly. Mark again says, disruptors are for war, phasers are for multi-tools. Ah, okay. So that's the truth right there. And that's the end of our super chats. Control Pew, thank you so much for joining me. What an awesome conversation. I now have a general knowledge about 3D printed guns. That's pretty great.
Hopefully it was enlightening to the audience as well, and they all got something out of it.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Thank you for having me on too.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the camera for a second, and you can just tell people how to follow you. Show your work and whatnot, and have at it.
Well, I'm Control Pew. You can find me at Control Pew everywhere on the internet, Instagram, I think, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, also at Control Pew, and at controlpew.com. Check out the guide if you're interested in getting started. That's at theguide.controlpew.com. And if you want to support the devs in our community, go to donate.controlpew.com, and we take Bitcoin donations through there. And if you want to support all the rest of the work we do, it's shop.controlpew.com. Pick up some patches and swag and whatever else you like. Shenanigans incoming.
Right on. Thank you very much. I got one more super chat here. This is from Colin Shaw Indie Games. Thanks for having this guest. The DD, maybe it's the D&D or the DD community. Right. That's what you said that you represent, right? What was it? Right. That name again?
Deterrence Dispense. Sorry, I always mix them up too. I'm in the middle of it. I keep mixing up Deterrence Defense and
Deterrence Defense. So the DD community is awesome, and many thanks to them for all their hard work. Thank you, Colin Shaw. Appreciate that. And the Great Gamers surprise super chat. Very nice, very nice. Well, thank you everyone for showing up. It's going to be a crazy week. I go live, of course, on Twitch later on after the Timcast IRL show ends. Tomorrow, I'm going to be having Karlin Borisenko on, and we're going to be talking about the laptop from hell. Yes, I know. It is the craziest story of the week. Of course, it's Hunter Biden and all this crazy stuff that probably more stuff's coming out tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about what hate speech is. I'm really digging into that word a little bit. And then, of course, tomorrow night is the final debate for the presidential election that's happening very soon. So crazy week. Tune in later on my Twitch channel. It's very easy to find me. Just Twitch TV/Adam Crigler. Same as at Crigler everything, right? There it is right here. Boom. And you can also follow me, and then go make sure you follow Control Pew, because if you want to learn more about all the stuff that we were talking about. And thank you all for joining in today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.